Okay, so I'm down at Brough. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. Brough or Brough. Brough. That's it. And it's sort of halfway between Dunnet Head and John O'Groats. I was up at Dunnet Head earlier on today to try and photograph the puffins. There were a few. Bloody hell, that's difficult. Also need a substantially longer lens. They're tiny wee birds, but it's great to see them. I've never seen a puffin before. And they've got bags of character. They certainly fly like goofballs. It's fantastic. They just look like they're totally out of control, sort of teetering and swaying all over the place, lots of flaps, whereas all the other birds are sort of gliding it through. Anyway, I'm not a nature photographer. I'm not an animal photographer, and there's a good reason for that. I'm rubbish at it. Anyway, I don't know why I've got this on anymore. It's nice and warm now. It was cool this morning when I was down at the Duncansby Stacks, but it's warmed up a lot now and the wind's dropped away, certainly down in this little bay. Now, I came down to photograph that thing there. I came down to photograph that. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called right now, but I will find out. And I will put it up on the screen, something maybe about there. So, tide's coming in. I flew the drone out to it, close to it. I got scared because it's still kind of windy. You can see the grass at the top of it is still blowing quite a lot in the wind. So I decided to keep the drone inside the wee cove here, just in case I lost it, and I don't want to do that for obvious reasons. So yeah, I've photographed it already, sort of at quite a long focal length, probably around about 70 millimeters or thereabouts. And I quite like the sweeping. I don't know if you can see this. Hang on a second. If you can see the sort of, I'm going to do this backwards. Sweeping line there. A kind of leading line led it out nicely to the island. But the tide's coming in, and there's some great cliffs. I'm going to show you the cliffs there behind me. Oops. Good cliffs behind me, and as the tide comes in, we might get a few more waves lapping at the shores of those rocks there, so we can get some nice foreground interest. Right, I found myself an interesting little composition that I hadn't contemplated until I got there. What is going on with my hair? Looks like I've been electrocuted or something like that. Anyway, I went to a new barber. Stick to the one you know. Anyway, right, so I'm standing on the old pier, on the old jetty pier. I can't remember the difference between a jetty and a pier, probably not much. And it's green. All the algae has made it green from the sea, and the waves are crashing up the jetty, and I've got the island there in the background, and then some great clouds. It's middle of the day, so it's harsh light, but there's no obvious shadows. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm assuming that the microphone's pointing. Yeah, we're good. I'm assuming that the microphone's pointing towards me, so that won't be picking up the wind as much because it's coming into my face. Anyway, so yeah, it's a great composition. I'm going to show you it, and I'm going to not talk because when I burl around, you're never going to be able to hear me in this wind. But it's nice just to see the composition. So hang on just a second. Go. And you'll see what I mean about green. Okay, so yeah, it's a nice composition. I decided to run it longer, a longer exposure. I'm at 13 seconds, f11 ISO 100, and I've got what is effectively 9 stops of ND plus a 1.2 medium grad just to darken the sky back. And I tried it first of all with with a shorter exposure, but the sun's so bright it made the waves blow out so quickly. So the longer exposure can tame those back a wee bit more with the ND. So that's working quite nicely. I'm actually really happy with this little composition. I like this puddle in the foreground as well, which is full of mossy algae stuff. I hope I like it as much when I see it on the computer. You're never ever really quite sure, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Righto, I've come down to Scarskerry. Right, that is Dunnet Head. So that is the most northerly tip of mainland Britain. I've decided I wanted to photograph the headland. It seems silly to come this far north and not photograph it. But I wanted to get a good foreground, so I had a look on the map and I could draw a line to see if I could see the point and so on and so forth, and also looked at the Google Maps imagery and found that this little point here had a jetty, which I'm standing on, but it also had these rocks in the, here along the coast. I'm probably going to wander along there a wee bit in a minute, just to see if it's anything better, but right now I'm pretty happy with my composition. But I thought I'd take the chance to tell you about the geared tripod head, which I've been crapping on about so much recently, and why it's so good, and just let you see how it works. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. You can see the spirit level in the back of the camera there. Let's just get a better exposure value. That's a bit much. Somewhere in the vicinity of that will do. Right, so you can probably see the spirit level in the middle there. And it's all skew-if. And my composition's all messed up. I want the headland there right in the middle of the image. And I want it also to be in the top third. So when I'm thinking about composition, so basically that's what we're looking at. So now I want to replicate that here, and I've got 3 knobs to choose from. 1, 2, 3, and they each do different things. This one's for panning, so literally pans the camera on the horizontal axis. This one here tilts the camera on the horizontal axis from left to right, so you can straighten your horizon really easily. And this one here pivots it up and down. Very, very simple, no faffing around with ball heads. So all I want to do is get my composition straight first by turning the horizontal pan. Then I'm going to tilt the camera down slightly so that the horizon is on the top third of the image. And then I'm going to switch my level back on, and I'm going to adjust this one here until the level goes green. So just tilting it to the left more. Perfect. And then I'm going to go down a little bit more because that has changed that level slightly. And there we go, there's the composition. And if I turn on the level, you can see it's green. And then you can see also that the horizon's in the top third of the image. So that's really, really how it works. It's a great piece of kit. They're not cheap. This one I think was around about £200. But definitely worth the investment. I have always agonized over ball heads. So it was either too tight or too loose, and every time I made an adjustment with the filters, they would dip. It was a pain. They were just a pain. I haven't had a single moment once with this yet, and it's had a really good solid outing already. Anyway, right, okay, I'm gonna get my shot. It's what is it? It's a 10-second exposure at f11, ISO 100. I'm probably focused to infinity, just a bit before that, and I'm at 70mm. And I've got some nice rocks in the foreground, great waves, long exposure to create a bit of drama. Perfect. Right, and once I've got this in the bag, I'll wander along the coast a little bit further that way and see what's what. Okay. Morning everyone. So I'm on my final full day here at John and Groat's. I've come back up to the Duncansby head because finally the wind dropped away. It dropped away so it's so calm. It's almost completely flat calm. It's beautiful and peaceful. So I thought to myself, drone. So a little bit scary. Yeah, I got some great epic B-roll with the drone. Sorry for all this itching, because of course, being that it's northern Scotland, now that the wind has dropped away, the midge are out in force, and I'm getting mauled. I'm getting properly mauled. Actually, I haven't been mauled properly by midges on the east coast before, so it must be a north coast thing. certainly Murray, where I'm normally, midgies! Certainly where I'm normally at, they're not a problem, which is great. It means you can just relax in the sun and you don't have to worry about the little bass. But yeah, so, hang on a minute. There's some beautiful light hitting the sea stacks I've been photographing, and I didn't think that was going to happen, but yeah, it's really nice. These are not the Duncansby, well, I guess they're part of the Duncansby Stacks, but they're not the ones that quintessentially everybody thinks of when you think of the Duncansby Stacks, I think. They're the ones on the other side, as if you were looking back over to the ones which are, there and there. Okay, wow, midgies. Right, okay, so I'm not going to spend too much longer here because, yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't know if you can see them, but they're swarming around me. This is like the West Coast proper now. And I'll show you which stacks I'm talking about. Oh, there they are. Yep, there you go. Those stacks there. So they're fantastic because they're completely separate from the cliff, but not too far apart. They've got the small island in the background with the lighthouse on it. And then every now and then the light strikes the eastern side of them. And it just creates some great contrast. So I'm going to stick around a little bit longer for that. I'm using the long lens, as you would expect, because I'm quite a long way away. About 120 mil approximately, as a guess. And I'm using 2 grads because the sky's quite bright compared to the land. And I'm using the 6-stop ND because I want to smooth the water over just a little bit. You can see the current and the tide just at the base of the sea stack. Right, here comes the sun, as you can see, and I'm just going to get myself in the right place at the right time and get on with the job. So hopefully I get some nice shots out of this. Hopefully you see something good. I'll come back to you later once I'm not quite so busy. I just want to focus and get this. This is about photography after all, not videography. Photography first. Always photography first.